guys, so I'm going to talk about how I friggin' dropped down to 9% body fat and how I gained 15 pounds of muscle being on the ketogenic diet, otherwise known as the non-BS diet. Alright, so here we go. How did I do it? It's my very, 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 very favorite non-subject, or my favorite to not talk about diet and getting lean, but because I get people who've got like MS, cancer, breast cancer. I had a woman the other day who had MS who was like, well, I started doing the ketogenic diet because I wanted to lose weight. I was like, you gotta do the ketogenic diet for your MS. All right, here we go. So how did I do it? Because I'm age 47. So kind of started off with, I started to develop some food allergies and intolerances like a lot of us do as we get older. But, you know, whatever. That's because we live with stuff. And then my mom came down with a little terminal brain cancer. And when she was diagnosed with a terminal glioblastoma in the brain, of course, my brother was pretty rock star, I've got to admit. He started researching. I started researching. And so with the both of our heads coming together, our noggins, he designed a way to detoxify. And I was like, okay, she's eating whole foods, but we've got to add more fat, more fat, more fat, more fat, more fat. Because you cannot cut out somebody's carbohydrates without introducing more fat. The body needs one or the other to fuel the fledgling brain. So, did I know what I was doing in the beginning? No. People are like, oh, you saved your mother's life. I don't know if I saved my mother's life. I don't like when people say that. All I know is I have encouraged her from the very beginning. And, of course, she survived her glioblastoma, and she's alive 7 years later. Whew, so I got her 7 years more. But in that time, I started to research. If I'm going to push her to eat fat, then I'm going to do it myself. I was very scared to try it in the beginning. So I started trying it, and I just dropped all my carbs. Oh, well, my starchy carbs. Because you guys, vegetables are carbs. So I dropped my starchy carbohydrates, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be a zombie. And I was not a zombie, but my workouts kind of sucked. And so I was like, what do I do? So eventually I started jacking up my fat. I was like, no, okay. And then I became addicted to the fat, and I was like, fat. And then I gained like 7 to 8 pounds, and I didn't know it though, because I don't have a lot of body fat cells on my midsection, because of what you guys do not understand is that you are born with a certain amount of body fat cells, and if you have too much insulin, aka or otherwise known as too much processed food in your body, a standard American diet, well, you can have those fat cells divide and create more and swell, and now you've got like a perfect fat storing machine. Now, of course, I'm a woman, so I'm going to have areas in my body which I'm designed to store fat. But I don't really, with my genetics, store a lot of fat here unless I train my body to store fat, which, yes, can be done and is done. So I started eating a lot of fat. And I was easily going upwards towards 4,000 calories. Easy. And I gained weight, but it took me like 4 months to gain the weight, so I didn't even notice. And then I put on a pair of particular jeans. I was like, whoa, I can't even fit in these. But my butt was like so plump. I was like, oh, this is kind of nice little shape there. But, you know, I wanted to find the right balance. So I cut down my fat, lost the weight, and over time, see, what you guys don't understand is you guys are in such a hurry to keto adapt that you want to adapt within weeks and then start getting the business. This is the business. You guys want to start getting the business like this. It doesn't work that way at all. It's a process. But because I didn't have anybody helping me out or instructing me, like, because I keto coach. Yes, and I've hit over 500 people now. And I've learned a lot. I've got, where is it? I've got notebooks up the wazoo of all of my subjects, because I do use the old after coaching. To get into a state of ketosis, it's not easy, you guys, because you have to get your body in balance, and a lot of that is the old personality. So I give it to you direct, and I keep it real with a smile on my face, because I'm not an a-hole. But I really go, this is what you need to do. You need to do a process of elimination, and later you can use a glucometer to bring back in some of those indulgence foods to find out where your limitations are, that exact big level of tolerance to proteins number, not proteins, or your carb level, your grams that you can take in without popping out of ketosis or hindering your keto adaptation. Okay, so I'm just psyched. Okay, so how did I do it? Well, number one, I took my time. Because one thought can produce glucose. Yes, the stress. You're actually trying to lower your glucose, right? You're trying to drive down your glycogen storages so you can have your ketones, ketone production, which is body fat converting into ketones. So you are not catabolic. So the thing about being in ketosis is that you no longer keep breaking down muscle to convert into sugar to feed your fledgling brain. That's a survival mechanism. And that's what we're trying to stop happening, because athletes and people getting through their day, they're constantly breaking down more than they're building up, and then they age. That's the whole problem. Plus they're toxic. But I digress. Okay, here we go. So I decided to go ahead and indulge on the fats because I got into ketosis quicker. But see, the thing is with me, you guys, I didn't care if I gained weight. You guys do. And that is the reason why you're having problems with your keto adaptation. The first level of your keto adaptation, do not care about weight. Care about getting into a state of ketosis. That is it. Then the second and third level, then later down the line you consider fat loss. How many people do I know are like, I didn't lose weight yet? And I'm like, no, because your body doesn't know how to use ketones. You're eating calories, which calories don't matter. You're eating nutrition. You're bringing in food to the body, and the body doesn't know how to utilize it as an energy source. So it doesn't get used. It gets stored. Now, because it's a fat molecule, a lot of it gets used. It does get used because it's still a nutrient. But a lot of it gets used before it's stored. With glucose, it's just slamming through your system because it's a poison, and it gets stored right away because you have insulin. And insulin is secreted when you eat carbohydrates, and insulin makes things grow like your fat cells. Okay, so what else, guys? All right. So then after, and it took a couple years to even be concerned about intermittent fasting. Intuitively, I understand and I've read that breaking the fast and eating a breakfast is going to tell the primal subconscious body brain that there's no starvation, there's no drought. So for your metabolism to allow itself, because your body will turn off the knobs and buttons and slow down things and slow down fat loss like this if it feels stressed. Bam! So when you go and do your treadmill, you are getting stressed, your body's stressed, and you're storing fat, which is why people HIIT train. But even HIIT training can stress your body out. Resistance training, body weight training is number one Steph's suggestion to reach your keto adaptation, put your body in balance, and then you can start pushing your limits. So I waited about 3 years before intermittent fasting. So I decided to intermittent fast, and I played with it, right? And I took it very easy. So I went eat a big breakfast, fast in the afternoon, eat dinner. Okay. I will not do this fasting for vanity, because if I feel like my energy is low, my ketone production is low, because I want to get the business and I want to get lean and shredded, and I don't feel well, I'm going to stop. So any time that I would experiment and I would feel like I was putting stress on the body, I would be like, okay, blah, 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 I'm going to pull this back. So then I start finding the right fats to eat, because you guys are so fat phobic that you're afraid to eat fat. So I really, really understood I need to have mono, and we need to have the 3, 6, 9s. Our diet has been very high in 6, so be careful for those nuts. All right? I found good quality meats, and this is an evolution to go good quality meats, meat fat. Going from chicken breast, because I still ate a lot of chicken breast in the beginning. So I went from chicken breast to chicken thighs and drumsticks. I went from organic butter to grass-fed butter. I went from olive oil, which I still use on occasion, to coconut oil. I went and started playing with different animal fats. Yeah, you can have bone broth soup, tallow. The bone broth soup is one of the biggest ones because that is so freaking medicinal. Chock loaded with the Mother Earth of vitamins and minerals to help fix your freaking just toxic bodies where your hormones and your enzymatic responses are not functioning properly. And then I started to sleep. So it's sleep. It was this. It was getting my macros on point and the timing of them, because the timing is critical. That means fasting at night. So my fasting window starts after dinner, because then I'm going to fast for 16 hours while I sleep. And then I'm going to break the fast and tell the body that there is no famine. So please don't crank down any things in my body. Please keep running on high speed even though I'm 47. Then, so I learned that lovely, lovely, and very beneficial concept that has worked on everyone that I've worked with. Then I understood the importance of magnesium. So on keto, there's a demand for magnesium. So again, the bone broth soup, or I use a Mega Food magnesium supplement, which is amazeballs. Okay, what else? My exercise started changing. I started to be more methodical and very smart. Breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and stretching in between exercises to just, you don't have to go, 24 hours, boom, boom. You don't have to do that to build muscle and to get ripped. No, pace yourself out and learn how to get your cortisol production down. That's what we want. That is what we want. Nutrition, timing, type, knowing my tolerant levels. Also with my workouts, I found the best time to work out for me, according to the circadian rhythm. I also knew the timing of my workouts and my post-workout actions, not as in meals, but as in a way to reflect and detox. Boom. Water. Yes, getting enough water in, using plant pectins as a way to clear out your liver. So ultimately, and then the sleep is the biggest one, because I was one of those thinkers, wake up in the middle of the night, think. So I've done things to get myself, turn off technology, you guys. Turn it off at least an hour before bed. Some of you are like, oh, but Stephanie, I watch your videos. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome, but maybe turn off technology 20 minutes before bed. Sleep, getting your cortisol down, understanding that sleep, according to the circadian rhythm, between 10 or 9 too, and 12, that's when you have the first gnarly 90 minutes of hitting 5 levels of sleep and getting growth hormone and having the responses on repair and fat loss happen in those hours, because you're not losing weight when you're actually working out. It happens when your body starts to go into like that hibernated repair mode. And if your body's not getting into that 5th level of sleep, how can you hibernate and repair from the day's work? The day's catabolic work you want to build up. And then, of course, like I said, getting the fat in is critical. Knowing you can't compromise, you can't scrimp on the fat, guys. You just can't. But ultimately, the reason why I got the business is because of letting things go. And just learning and letting things go. And understanding that monetary things were never the object. Superficiality was never the objective. It was just to feel good inside about who I am and my achievements. And that's what it's about. So if you want to learn more, you guys, go to stephanieperson.com or Stephanie the Business Person on my Facebook fan page, or Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagram, and I'm out of here. Peace out!